All right, today we're going to talk about changing your currency. For example, if you're in England or in a different country and you want to change the symbol from dollar to pound, for example, in England, we're going to go through and show you how to do that. So it'll work the same with any currency symbol you want to change it to. I'm going to go through and give you some examples. So it's easy to do. It takes a little time. Whatever fields are set for dollar, for example, which is the way we ship it, you'll have to exchange that and put you'll have to change that to the other symbol, which is very easy to do. So we'll go through our different files. We'll go through contracts. That has a couple fields. I'm going to click on contracts, take you over here. We're going to keep an eye out for fields. For example, here's one here, limit on demos. So instead of $500, maybe it's 500 pounds or 1,000 pounds. You'll have to decide. Now to change this, it's quite easy. You'll just have to view what mode you're in. Normally you're in browse mode, but we're going to go to layout mode to make these changes. Normally you would not go into the layout mode. This is only for designers and when we design the software. But here's an exception where you'll need to learn this little trick. So you can go up to the view menu, choose layout. Notice there's a keyboard command next to it. For Mac or Windows, you can use that. I would get to know these four. They're very helpful to know. So we're in browse most of the time. We're going to change to layout mode. Now notice you start to see field names instead of data. So we've noticed that this field called demo limits needs to be changed. So all I do is click on it. It highlights the field. Now you can do multiple fields if there's multiple fields that need to be changed at the same time, just by holding down your shift key and clicking another field. I'll show you that later. But for now, let's just change this one. It's the only one I see on this screen. So we click here, and if your inspector window is not showing, go up and choose View Inspector from the View menu. Notice that goes away. So choose it until it shows. Drag it to a place where it's convenient for you. Probably off to the right here. Anyway, at the very bottom, you scroll down, you'll see it's set to currency. If it's not, you can always, if it's blank, you can change it to currency. And then you'll notice the dollar sign here next to currency. It says symbol. All you do is select that. And then I'm typing the pound sign, for example. So that's it. Now I click off of that onto the green somewhere, and I'm going to go back to browse, which is on Mac, it's Command B, but I'll choose it here till you get used to it. And notice that it's put a pound sign there. That's it. That formats it for every record in this database. A lot of them are empty here and there, but there's another one. So it's quite easy to do, and it's a one-time operation. The only time you need to redo these is if you upgrade to a newer version of Songtracker Pro. Then you'll get files that are set with the dollar sign. So if your files don't automatically reset based on your system, then what you'll need, in most cases, you'll need to go through and do this operation. It's quite quick as you get used to it. I'm going slow right now to explain everything. I'm going to click on the various buttons here in this file. So you'll want to do the same thing. Notice here's a field that has a dollar sign. So let's go. I'm doing it the slow way. Normally I'd use the keyboard command, Command L, or whatever it is for on Windows. It could be Alt L or whatever the difference is. It'll show you there. Minimum dollar royalty. Okay, I click on that. I scroll down. It says currency. It's already set up with the dollar symbol. I just select that. Whoops, I hit the wrong key. And then type in a pound sign, and you're done. Now, before you go back and check it, if you want to change the field labels also, you don't have to, but if you do, you just double click on that and type a pound sign. Notice it said you can't do it because this is locked. In designing the software for your own protection, we've locked a lot of the text of the field labels. So in this instance, you'll have to unlock it first if you wish to change that. So to unlock it, you go up to the Arrange menu. Whoops, it's got to be highlighted. Okay. So I click on it, then I go up and I change to Unlock. And notice that that puts handles around it. Now I can go in there, double click on it, for example, and that brings the text tool up, which is not showing, but if you have the toolbar showing, you can see that it changed it to the text tool. But anyway, just go through here, change it to pound, and then you can click on this and go back. I'm going to hit Command B, or you can just go up and choose Browse Mode. And you'll notice that it says minimum pound royalty to require statement, 25 pounds. So that takes care of that. Again, just go through. Now, you don't have to go through every record and change it in the database. It'll automatically take care of all the other records. You just have to go through all the different layouts. Like in this layout, you'll want to change all these. Now let me show you how to do all these at once. Go to the Layout menu and click on all of these. Let's see. What you want to do first is look at them all, because you don't want to hit the dates and format those. You only want to do these fields that have $ showing. So there's 3 of them here. Let's do those 3. I'm going back to the Layout mode, which I use the keyboard command. And I'm going to choose these. Going down here, I'm going to choose, it's not selected to currency, so I'm going to select currency from the format, scroll down, and change the $ to the pound sign, or whatever currency you wish to change it to. Now, when I go back to Browse, which is Command B for me on Mac, you'll notice there's a pound sign in front of them all. So I've noticed there's more down here. I didn't change them all at once because I didn't want to confuse you. I'm going to go back to Layout mode. I'm going to click on these. Well, I'm going to check them again because I want to count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 different fields I want to get. Four, 5. I'm going to go down here and choose currency as the format. Now, hopefully looks like they're all unlocked. So if I try to change it and it's locked, it'll tell me. So now I'm going to change it to a pound sign. Now, when I click off and go back to Browse, again, View menu to Browse or keyboard command, you'll notice they've all changed to pound now. All right. That's it. That's how simple it is to do. I'm going to go through some more. I'm going to also show you how to do it on reports. But you should just go through all of the different places, different layouts, and change it. It'll take a half hour, an hour to do it once you get proficient at it, and you're done. If you're not using a section of the software, you don't have to change it. If you're not going to use that, then don't worry about it. But if you are, it's a good idea to go ahead and change these. For example, there's 2 here. I just use the keyboard command to go to Layout. It's these 2. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to hit change the format to currency. Scroll up and change the $ to a symbol to a pound. Done. All right. So I'm finished this file, for example. Now I want to go over to Catalog and do the same thing. All right. Let's click on one of these. All right. Here's some $ right here, for example. So I'm going to go to the View, Layout. If this grid is in here and it bothers you, you can, here it is, Show Grid, turn the grid off. If that makes it a little easier to see the fields, I totally understand that. We leave the grid in there for designing to get everything lined up properly. I'm going to click on these 3 fields that are $1. They're already set to currency. I'm going down and change that. Go back. I'm going to use the keyboard command this time to go back to browse mode, which you can use the view menu if you like, and notice that they're all changed. So now I'm going to move on to another layout within this catalog file. Authors. There's none here that I see, so I'm going to click more. I go, oops, there's demo limit. Okay, I want that in pounds, not dollars. So if that's the case, I'm going to go to layout mode, click on the budget field, which is the one that was highlighted with the $, scroll down, change on the inspector and change it to pound. Click off it, go back to browse mode, and notice it's all fixed. So I'm going to go click back, and that'll take me back to the other layout. Copyright, you can go through different, there's nothing in the lyric. Checklist, I think we're okay. Library, and just check through to see if there's any other. For example, and let's go to licenses. So now there's one right here. It's still in the catalog file. It says these are the licenses for this song. So I'm going to go view, layout mode. I'm going to click on this agreed licensing rate. Scroll down, it's set to currency. I'm going to change it. And when I'm in America, I use option 3. That gives me the pound sign. But you're going to hit probably shift 4 in your the way your system. If your system's set up for England, for example, you'll use shift $, which is going to give you the pound. So anyway, I'm going to choose the keyboard command and go back to browse, and notice it's set. Now, if I want to move on to the license file, I'll just click details, and that'll take me over to the license file. Now I'm in licenses. You can tell by the color. So I'm going to look here, go up, here's one. Let's see if there's any others. This is the agreed rate. Oh, here's one, too. Guarantee. I think this, so there's 3 fields, if I remember correctly. The guarantee, the advance amount of money, and the agreed rate. So there's going to go to layout mode. Agreed rate. I'm going to hold my shift key down, advances, and guarantee. I clicked on those 3 fields. I'm going to click format and choose currency down here under data formatting. Scroll up and change this field to a pound sign. Now when I go back to browse, view browse mode, you'll notice they're all changed. And this one doesn't have any money in it, so that's why it doesn't show up. All right. You'll notice at the bottom of the license file, in most of the windows, there's a sample license, a master license, a sync license, a mechanical license. There's different licenses in here, and I'll show you how to modify these in a different tutorial, but just for sake of getting over there, this is a great way to do it. I'm going to click the mechanical license. Excuse me. Notice here there's a $, amount. Here's a $, amount. So if I need to go through and change some of these, now of course you're going to put your own language in here. From your own attorney, that would be best. Instead of using, these are just placeholder forms. But I'm going to go up to the view menu. Now again, if you get here and you go to layout, and if this ugly grid is showing, that's just to lay it out. You can get rid of that temporarily. You can get rid of that by unselecting show grid. Makes it a little easier to see. Now you look through for $, for example. I'm going to click this button to show, or the button to show the toolbar. And I'm going to go to the text tool. And if there's different ways to choose the toolbar if you want to look in your FileMaker manual. If you don't know how to do that, I click the little button at the bottom here. It changes from version to version of FileMaker, but there's a little box here next to the plus sign that I like to use as a shortcut. Now I select the $, and now I type pound. Go through all the places. Here's another one. Make sure you only select what you want to change. Here's another one. Put the pound sign in. Again, this is a one-time operation. So you don't have to change it for every single record in the database. You're changing the layout, which is normally we don't let you on here. We suggest you don't go here. You can go here, but normally this is what we do for you. But if you're customizing something, then you can go in here and change these layouts. Anyway, you can look through more detailed and find the exact spots if there are more, but I'm going to go back to browse and give it a quick look. And you'll notice the pound sign is showing now. Pound here. There may be a couple other places where there's a dollar sign. I don't see any offhand, but if you do, then change them. I suggest once you're done, you print out a copy of this mechanical license by hitting the print command and hit current record. So you're only just printing out one copy, and then you can look at it. Or if you want to just see it, how it's going to print, you can always view preview. That's the other mode, and preview mode shows it as it's going to print, because certain things slide up and makes a neater page for you. But now there's pound in there, for example. Okay, now I'm going to go back to browse, for example. Notice it changes, but that's just because of the way the database works. So when it's going into preview mode is what it looks like when it'll print. So it'll look different in preview mode and on a printed page than it will in browse. Now to get back to data entry, I just like to click the data entry button. That gets me out of there. I can get to all of these agreements. I could go through. Here's one. This is a master agreement. Again, you're going to want to take the other tutorial that teaches you how to put your agreements in here. And then you could go through and change the dollar amounts. But I just went to the layout mode, for example. I double-clicked here, which took me into the text tool automatically. Normally it comes in like that. But when I double-click here, notice it changes to the text tool. So I'm going to change that from from dollar sign to pound, for example, and go through all those, for example. Anyway, that gives you an idea. That should give you a good idea how to do that. You'd also want to do royalties and all of the files, projects and royalties. Now here I notice there's no dollar signs used, so that could stand for pounds too. I'm going to click on one of these. I would want to change this, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at which ones have dollar signs. Again, I'm going to layout mode. I'm going to go back to browse because I forgot to count them. 1, 2, 3 have dollar signs. Going back to layout, I'm going to click on subtotal, hold my shift key down, click total and balance due. Now I'm going to scroll, change this to the pound sign. Go back and choose browse again, view browse. Takes me back to it. Now you notice they're all set to browse. Now there's 15 records in here, sample data. It's going to, no matter which one I go to, it's going to change to pound now. So you only have to do it once. It's a one-time operation. You don't do it for every record. You just do it for every layout. Now you'll want to go to payments layout, for example, and see if there's dollar sign. There's a dollar sign. There's a dollar sign. And there'll probably be others. Here's one over here. So I see 3. You may have 4. You'll have to come back as you see them. There's 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go into layout mode. I'm going to click on 1. Forgot them. Where are they? Okay, 2, 3. Okay, these 2 and that one. So this one, and this one. Now I notice they're locked because they have X's, see? So if I tried to change it, it wouldn't. So I'm going to go up to Arrange menu and choose Unlock. I'm going to hold my Shift key down again and click on this and this. And now change to Format Currency and choose pound. Now, something was locked. Okay. So I couldn't make my change. Let's see if it changed any of them. It did change the ones that were unlocked, but this one was locked and this one wasn't. So only one of them was unlocked. So therefore I need to go back and redo that operation on this. See how it has X's around it? Go up, unlock it, go down to currency, scroll up, change the $sign to a £sign, and view the browse mode, and that'll change and show you in pounds. Again, that changes on all the records. So once you make these, and you'll also want to go over and change. You'll need to show the toolbar. No, actually you won't. You could go to your layouts. You could view, go to layout here. What you're going to want to do is go to all your royalty statements. There's 3 different styles, and your reports, royalties paid history, and these 5 mainly. Statement listing, I'm not sure about that one. You'll have to check them. But anyway, go to your royalty statement. Notice these fields don't have a $sign in it, just your totals normally. So you don't need to change these fields, and you don't want to. You'll want to go down, go to layout mode. And I forgot which ones again. So double check or write them down to see subtotal, total, carry forward, and balance. So 4 of them there. Subtotal, total. Now there may be others too that all of a sudden start appearing with $signs. If that's the case, then you can always come back at any time and change them. So I'm going to go down to currency, choose currency, scroll up to where the symbol is, and put the $sign in, for example. So now they're all formatted correctly and are going to show up. That's it. Now you do that to all your different layouts, different royalty statements. I see some in the text here. If you care about that, then you'll have to go back to layout. And in that text, let's see. I double clicked it. I'm going to check that. Careful not to click into this because this is a merge field and that's bringing in information. So you just want to get the $sign, change it to a £. And when we go back to browse, then it's 25 pounds. Okay. That's it. And I think that's going to show you how to change from $sign to pound throughout the system. Go through all your files and just check around. If you miss some of them, like here, all of a sudden you say, oh, there's one with a $sign I didn't get. Okay. So you just go there later. You go into layout mode. You click on it. It looks like it's grouped. If it's grouped, ungroup. The selected group includes at least one button. Ungroup and then we'll delete the button. We don't want to delete the button. So let's see if we can just change that. I don't think it's going to let us. In that situation, I think I would leave it there. It's not going to hurt anything. You know it's pounds. The main places you want it, I could do it there. It's no problem, but I don't want to unhook a button for you where you click on this and it takes you somewhere, see? You want to keep that button. And if you don't know enough about customizing, I would just keep that there like that. It wouldn't be hard for me to change it, but it might be harder for you to change it. But it's not going to hurt anything. Currency, here, change this field to pound. There's another one. So as they show up, just change them. If this doesn't have a $sign, don't worry about it. And again, your reports. You can just view, go to layout, and look at your different layouts. These I don't think these have $signs on them. Well, there's one. For example, if you want to change that, simply go there. Under currency, scroll up, change it. Back to browse mode to double check it. There it is. Okay. So that's how you update it. I'm going to click data entry. It takes me back to familiar territory, back to people. You can check all these different places. To check the layouts, just go through different things here. And if you see something appear with a $sign and go through the sample data. Click these different fields, go through a couple, and see if all of a sudden a dollar signs, there's one, shows up. Like right here, hourly rate. If that matters to you, you could change that format. Simple, it's quick. Just change it right there. It changes it for all the records in that database. Now it's pounds. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I hope that helps you and gives you some ideas how to update your system for different currencies. All right. Thank you.